Hi everyone, this is Venus Brown. I am trying just a little experiment. I have about 6 videos, all from season 1 of Derry Girls, which have been blocked in certain countries. I will be putting a gray overlay over the footage, and I will be trimming things up a little bit different than I did the first time, and I am hoping that that will help the situation. Hello, this is Venus Brown. I'm going to be doing a reaction video to Derry Girls Season 1, Episode 1, because I am using the camera speakers and they are not that great, but they are better than what's on the computer. There is going to be, I think, kind of a fan sound that you'll hear or something like that, which is a bit annoying, but right now I don't have an alternative that is better unless I use those Bose earbuds, which do not always stay connected properly, so I don't want to take that chance, because then I have a whole video where sections of audio are completely cut out, and we can't have that now, can we?
Look at this, the bomb of the bridge apparently.
No.
Decisions were raised in a hijack plan.
Oh dear God, no. Does this mean they can't get to school? I've had a whole summer of it, Jerry. She's melting in my head.
Why didn't you just leave my Mary alone?
Because we've been married for 17 years, Joe. We have 2 children. Because we're in love with each other.
On your holidays? First day of term, Sarah? Is it I? It is I.
Oh, I thought those two were sisters.
Well, it's got your man in it. What do you call him? The desk dancer from Look Who's Talking. Who owns the fella? Me.
Who owns the fella?
Come on then, Bullock. Are you introducing yourself or what?
Hi, I'm Michelle's cousin, James.
Why is he making that funny noise? He's English, fella. That's the way to talk. He's Manta Cathy's wife. I told you about Manta Cathy. She went to England years ago to have an abortion, never came back. Never got the abortion either. What did you do?
I didn't actually know that.
What did he say? Nothing interesting.
He didn't
What's he
know.
doing here? Kathy just got divorced, so she's moved back. The husband caught her doing the dirt on him. She's a bit of a goer, is our Kathy. Where's her fears? Their fetuses. Come on. Alright, shift to short holes, let's go. Nobody move. You better do as I say, or what? Or there'll be consequences. Such as? We'll beat you up. Wonderful. Really? Sure. Go on then. What? Beat me up? Not now. After school. We'll beat you up after school. Grand, I'll meet you after school and you can beat me up. What's happening exactly? I'll bring my sister, Mandy. You might know her. Mandy O'Connell. She's an opera singer. Like Mandy. Like Mandy's your sister. That's right. That's right. Listen, I think there's been a wee bit of a misunderstanding. Thought you might say that. Now fuck off. Right, will do. Wasn't that all?
Little fetus has a mouth on her. I would be freaking out. Some freaking soldiers come on the bus with guns.
What's going on?
I don't know. But do you think if I told him I had an incendiary device on my knickers, he'd have a look?
Oh my
He's a
God.
soldier. Look, some of them are right. I'm willing to admit it, even if nobody else will. Because I'm a beacon of truth now. You're a moth, that's what you are. Red hair. Very bold. I'd love to go that short, but sure, I don't have the bone structure. He's a fella, Jenny. Oh,
She didn't know it was a guy.
we said it, but it's a joke. As in, we're going to beat you up, but like in a jokey way. Right. But the thing is, that's not actually funny, is it? Like, at all. Well, humour's so subjective, really, so now the wee girl claims that she's not bothered, but reading between the lines. Why are you reading between the lines? I'm just not so sure that I believe her. I don't want to report you guys. Please don't report us, Jenny. Check the tits. I think I'll just have
Sugar
to
tits.
mull it over. In which you can grow. Wow, what a great way to look at it.
They're like,
Some lovely sentiments there. Some very beautiful words. Unfortunately, that's all they are. Sentiments and words. What you've just witnessed is a piece of fiction. The reality, I'm sorry to say, is much harsher, far more brutal.
So let me take this opportunity to advise all our new girls to keep their guard up. Watch their back. Oh, speaking of pupils who need to watch their back, I'd like to introduce James McGuire. Show yourself, please, James. James will be the first ever boy to study here at Our Lady Immaculate College. He was due to start at Christian Brother Boys, but there were serious concerns for his safety because, well, unfortunately, James happens to be English. But let me make one thing clear. I will not have a repeat of the Mr. Mullen affair. Is that understood?
What's the Mr. Mullen affair?
Student teacher. 2 fourth years cable tied him to the monkey bars and started dry riding him. He was really good looking, so you've nothing to worry about.
That is fair.
Would you mind showing me where the toilet is?
You are really starting to do my hand, you know that?
Will the following pupils please report to Sister Michael's office immediately? Erin Quinn, Orla McCool, Claire Devlin, Michelle Mallon, and the wee English fella. Thank you.
I wonder what that could be about.
It wasn't bullying. It was attempted bullying. Not to get expelled.
It was a
Nobody ever actually gets expelled. Wanda Gallagher hasn't even been expelled and she's now alright.
So that's probably why.
Can't find the boys' toilets anyway.
It's an all-girls school, duckface. There are no boys' toilets.
So should I just use the girls' toilet?
No, you should not, you fucking pervert.
Yes. I didn't do anything. It was Michelle. It was all Michelle. I'm not going down for something I didn't do. If anyone deserves to get punished, it should be Michelle.
Well, I think it's safe to say we all just lost a bit of respect for you there, Claire. This is just so disappointing, girls. I mean, threatening a first year.
We didn't threaten her, we're not stupid. Like Mandy's her sister and she's half fucking gorilla.
That's quite enough, Miss Mallon.
I shouldn't swear, Michelle, because when you swear Our Lady in Heaven, she cries her tears, then make rain. Isn't that right, Sister Michael?
What are you doing now, Willa?
15.
Yeah, you might want to think about wising up.
Since there's no male student toilets on the premises, am I permitted to use the staff one?
Absolutely not. Now, I think you all owe Tina an apology,
You
don't
really
you?
should be allowed to
We're
use the
very
staff.
sorry, Tina. Sorry, Tina.
Sorry.
Now, Tina, do you accept their apology?
No.
You don't accept their apology?
Do I have to accept their apology, sister?
I don't suppose you do. No.
Then I don't.
Desperate now. This is agony.
Can you please stop crying in my face for 5 fucking minutes, James?
Oh my gosh, stop.
I feel awful. I think my body's gone into starvation mode. I think it's starting to shut down.
For Christ's sake, Claire, you've just basically skipped lunch. Orla, that better not be what I think it is. You better not have brought my diary to school.
I have to. I'm doing my book report.
What's going on there, girl? She has my diary, sister, and she won't give it back.
I'll take that.
You have been warned. Do not ask me again.
This is disgraceful. I should have access to a lavatory. What about my civil rights?
Corner.
Yeah, see, when that happened, I was like, he should just
Fuck, sister.
pee right there in the corner.
What am I gonna do, Erin? That collar's been discontinued. This is torture.
Michelle, I can't hold it in any longer.
What part of me not giving a flying fuck are you struggling with exactly? I can't do that.
Steven, she saw first. Michelle, don't.
First time I watched this through, I wasn't paying much attention, so I didn't know exactly at what point she had died. So she is dead.
Don't look at me like that, Erin. You'll get your £2 back.
Will you ever get your self-respect back, Claire? Right, if I leave now, I might still catch
She
David.
have it in the first
Sister
place.
Declan wakes up.
It's funny how she sleeps with her eyes away, though. Fun of it.
What?
Sweet suffering Jehovah.
And there he goes. At least he peed in a bucket.
Why were you pissing on her dead body and making sandwiches?
Say nothing, girls. Say nothing till we've seen a lawyer.
Body of making sandwiches.
Health and safety gone mad, David.
What are you playing at? Rifling through a dead non-sandbag.
She stole my lipstick, Mommy.
Don't lie. Sister Declan was a woman of God.
Actually, she was known to be a bit light-fingered.
Where's my mum, Auntie Deirdre?
She's away back to London.
What, without me?
Oh, dry your eyes, James.
Sorry to keep you waiting, sister. How long does it take to defuse a fucking bomb? Sure, the wee robots do all the work. Oh, killing nuns now, is it?
I didn't die.
You wait until your mother hears about this.
Obviously, Sister Declan's death was extremely shocking and unexpected.
Does anybody else have any thoughts on the whole her being almost 98 years of age thing?
Look down there praying.
The hospital are saying it was heart failure, but I have my doubts. As I said on the phone, the circumstances in which I found her body were strange, to say the least. So I've decided to carry out a full investigation into the incident.
But still,
That makes sense. What? Nothing about this makes sense. The woman was almost 98 years of age. She had a heart attack. Why is everybody going absolutely mental?
Less of a cheek, Aaron.
I didn't do anything. It's not fair.
But the thing is, life isn't fair. You see, injustice is something I've become accustomed to. I am, after all, a child of the crossfire, surrounded by conflict. But I choose to rise above it. The path to peace is paved with tolerance and understanding. Violence is never the answer.
See, I really thought she was the sister. Now it's like
so far.
We start out with the family, the main family, finding out that they're planning. It sounded like they're planning to bomb a bridge, and it's going to cause some major havoc with getting people back and forth, which also means that the kids getting to school is going to take longer. When the kids get to where they all meet up together, the girl Michelle, she has this teenage boy behind her. Mind you, this is an all-girls private school that they go to. So she has this boy behind her who is her cousin. Asked, like, it was something like, who owns this boy? Who owns this boy? And so she explained that her Aunt Kathy had went to England a while back to have an abortion, and she never came back. And, oh, by the way, she also never had an abortion. And this was the resulting boy. The reason that he's going to this all-girls school is because they were worried, being that he is English, and the English and the Irish have these clashes that go on between them that are not pleasant. And so they were very concerned that he would be bullied and picked on and harassed in an all-boys school. Mostly for being British, and they also complained that he was a little effeminate. Because of that concern, they decided to send him to this all-girls school, and and that becomes a major part of what goes on in the show. Other than this next part, they get on the bus, and Michelle likes to cause problems. And she intentionally starts picking on the girls in the back. She decides that they've been in the school for a lot longer, and these are like first years. She calls them fetuses, and says that they, having been there so much longer, should have the right to sit in the back of the bus, and those fetuses should not. So she proceeds to tell them to get out of there, pick on them, and one of the younger girls is like not having any of that. She's like, I'm not moving, you're not making them move anywhere, and what consequences? I'll beat you up. And she's like, so beat me up. and Michelle's like, well, not right now, it'll be after school. So she's like, then we'll meet after school and you can beat me up then. And that was funny. And then she finds out, because the girl tells her that her sister is this very strong built girl, which Michelle being a gorilla. So lots of name calling in this. lots of stereotypes thrown around, lots of, you might call it ethnicism, but still, because of the placement of the Irish compared to the British and all of that. But that whole situation, so they of course back out of that and are, act like that was just a joke and they didn't mean anything by it, because they're all afraid of this girl's quite strong sister. So, but later on, they put on this little production that makes that makes growing up in school sound all nice and flowery and everything. And then the nun comes up there and she's like, this was all very nice words and very kind and gentle and everything, but they're just words. This is a work of fiction. Which I like. I kind of like that, but I have known some people like that in school, some of the adults in school, and it can be quite aggravating. You get somebody who's just that, like, is the first male to ever attend their school because of the situation I explained, because he is coming from Britain and they were concerned about how he would be treated in an all-boys school. So he goes to this all-girls school. And while she's introducing this boy, somebody whistles in the crowd. They end up getting called into the office later on because of that whole situation with the bus, with them picking on the first years and threatening to beat them up and everything. And the girl Claire. So I remember the names now. Don't expect me to remember them later. Right now, just because it's fresh in my mind, Claire, she proceeds to like beg and beg that this is all Michelle's fault, that she had nothing to do with it, and she gets done begging, and the nun is like, I have to say that we all have a lot less, that they were joking around and they didn't mean it or whatever, which wasn't necessarily completely true, but that they wouldn't do it again, and it looked like everything was going to go fine and they were going to kind of get off with just the apology. And then the nun, see, I want to call her sister, but then I don't know, maybe they call her sister, maybe they call her mother, but anyway, asks the girl if she accepts their apology, and she's like, no, I don't accept their apology. And she's like, oh really, you don't? And she's like, do I have to accept their apology? And she's like, well, I guess you really don't. And so she didn't accept their apology, so they ended up going to detention. Now, by the point that they go to detention, the boy, I think his name is James, he has got to go to the bathroom very, very bad, but they're in an all-girls school, and all the bathrooms are for girls, except for staff. So eventually they verify that, hey, all these student bathrooms are girls' bathrooms, so no, there's no bathroom for you. And the young girl, Claire, she's been fasting. Now, I don't know a lot about fasting, but my understanding is that when you, the only thing I know about fasting, personally, me doing it personally, is when I've had to do like a urine test or something, and you have to go a certain amount of time without any food or drinks other than water. And I've done that for multiple things, for pee tests and for I think it was a sugar test when I was pregnant. But that's all I really know, and that's only like, I think, an 8-hour period of time. So other than that, for religious people that fast and people that are fasting for protest and stuff like that, my basic understanding is that you go that set amount of time without eating anything. But that doesn't mean you don't ingest anything at all. So she's wanting to go 24 hours. Doesn't mean you don't ingest anything at all for 24 hours. I think it's something like a lot of those where you can at least drink water. Okay? So like even our pee tests, you can drink water usually. So she could have been at least drinking water, which doesn't fill you up. It doesn't keep you from having the shakes or anything like that. But it can at least kind of trick your brain into thinking that you're not that terribly hungry, at least a little bit. And my other understanding is that some fasting also allows you to have juice and things like that. So it sounded to me like she was trying to just straight up fast with nothing. No food, no drink, no juice, which is probably a really bad idea, and especially if you're used to eating regularly or eating a lot, and then you just go one day without eating anything. And I know how that feels to have your sugar get too low, and how close you can feel of passing out. You frankly can pass out. Yeah, when they were getting in trouble in the first place, he actually asked the younger sister or nun about whether he could use the staff lounge, which I think that is what they should have done. They should have compromised and allow him to use the staff lounge. And she said no. She just said no, and she gave him no alternative, and he has to go to the bathroom. So he gets there, and he's begging to go to the bathroom. And by this point, you're talking about after school, because they're in after school detention. So they've already been through their whole day of school, and now it's after school. He still hasn't been able to go to the bathroom. I've got 2 kids, and one of them does not like using the school bathroom, and they will usually abstain from going until they get home. But that's usually I go right before, and then I go again right after, and they are prepared for it, and they're more used to it, so it's not such a bother. But this is somebody who was not prepared for it, did not know that he was going to have no bathroom that he could use at all, and is just like repeatedly told not to go to the facilities that are there, and given no option to go. So so that was terrible. So the last time that he asks the older nun if he can go to the teacher's lounge bathroom, she basically takes that as him mouthing off, because she had already said no, and tells him to go to the corner. And I was like, if I were him, as soon as she said go to the corner, I would have gone to the corner and I would have peed in the corner. Like, just like he gave me no choice. Like, what do you want from me? You know, you're gonna pee in the corner, or you're gonna pee in your pants, one way or another. And granted, the other girls, like, you just basically skipped lunch. But when you're talking about going from the morning till the end of the school day, you're talking about a lot of hours with no food, nothing to build your energy. So I get it. It's tough. The girl I thought was the blonde girl's sister turns out to be her cousin. And she's got her diary again, and the nun takes the diary from her and starts reading it herself. And she's eating a sandwich, so the girl that's famished, just seeing her eating the sandwich, which is making her think about it more. And the girl whose diary she has is getting frustrated because the lady's reading her diary after her cousin was already reading her diary, and her cousin had also said she was going to do her book report on the girl's diary. And after the boy is sent to the corner, she dies. She just straight up dies, heads on the desk, and they start playing with her head and messing around with her, trying to take the girl Michelle, she got her makeup taken from her, so she's trying to take her makeup back. The other girl's trying to get her diary back, and the boy finally is peeing in a bucket in the corner. And I was just like, at least he peed in a bucket, because I would have just been like, straight up whip it out and start peeing, or pee all over myself, whatever. I have no shame. But so all this stuff is going on, and the younger nun walks in at that time while this girl is like holding the dead nun's head up, and the other girl is digging through her purse, and the other girl is grabbing her diary, and the boy is in the corner peeing in a bucket. So yeah, it looked really, really crazy, and the lady was like, oh my god. So yeah, caught red-handed. So then they brought in like all those kids' family members. The mom's sister, I think Sarah, she thought that it was something like they were peeing on the nun while making sandwiches or something like that. Oh yeah, and the girl that hadn't eaten in a while, she started eating the nun's sandwich. So, oh my gosh. But yeah, it was a crazy episode. It was hilarious. And I felt so bad for that boy being told over and over again that he can't use the facilities. And he finally stands up for himself and gets told to stand in the corner. It was something. The younger nun explained that the coroner said that it was a heart attack. She was 98 years old and she had a heart attack. And the girl's like, the nun was like, well, it still looked really funny, like there was something really weird going on. I was like, yeah, very disturbing. But the fact remains, she was 98 years old, she had a heart attack, and even though there was weird, disturbing stuff going on in the room, I think that it should be pretty well understood that she was old and had a heart attack. But yeah, one episode down. I'm not sure how many to go, but it was funny. It was hilarious. See me back next time for season 1, episode 2 of Derry Girls.